Today I'll teach you how to use entity framework in ASP.NET Core version 10. In this video I am using Northwind database. All the details regarding Northwind database are available in the video link available on the right hand side. So let's start. First I will install the entity framework package, hence I am opening NuGet package manager console. Here I'll paste the command for installing the package. As you can see, the package has been installed. Now let's move to the solution explorer. Now I'm adding a model class to the project. I'm naming the class as customer.cs. Now I'll click on add. Here I'll be creating some properties. You need to make sure that the name of the properties should match the names of the fields in the table. For example, this particular field customer ID is a string field in the database table, and the name is exact copy of the column name. The second column is contact name. You need to make sure that the data type as well as the name of the column is exact match, so that the entity framework can map the column to the appropriate field and fetch the data. Now we will add another class. It will be called as database context. This is more like a business class. It will have all the functions required by entity framework. So here we'll begin with addition of namespaces. So the very first namespace is of model class, since we need to use the model class in this particular class. The next namespace is for entity framework. It's Microsoft.entityframework core. Now here I'll inherit the entity framework core database context class or DB context class, so that I can use all the properties and functions here. Now I'm making a constructor of the class, and I'm injecting the DB context options object using dependency injection. Whatever I am doing is a standard, and you will have to do in all the projects where you are using entity framework with .NET Core. In ASP.NET Web Forms and FVC, all these classes were automatically generated by entity framework, but here in .NET Core we have to manually write it. Now I am creating a public property of dbset collection. This particular collection will be of model class, and this particular collection will hold the data which is fetched from database using entity framework. Now we are done with the DB context class. Now I'll be opening the app settings.json class. Here I'll be adding the connection string to the Northwind database. Here I am adding a new key mycon, and this particular connection key will be used in the program.cs file later on to fetch the connection string from the app setting.json file. Now here I am adding a connection string which is specific to my machine and database. In your project, you need to add the connection string as per your configuration of the database. So that's it, we are done with the connection string. Now again let's move to the solution explorer. Now I'll be opening the program.cs class. The next thing I'm doing is creating a variable to store the connection string which will be fetched from the app settings.json. In order to fetch the connection string, I am making use of the builder configuration property. The method to fetch the connection string is getConnectionString, to which I am passing the key. Now we'll make use of the addDBContext function, and this particular function is used to specify the database that you are using, SQL Server or something else, and also which connection string you are using to connect to the database. So as you can see, I am making use of lambda expression, and I am calling the function use SQL Server, to which I am passing the connection string variable. So this completes the configuration part. Now we can move to the controller class. Now I am making a private property of dbContext class. Then I am creating a constructor of home controller class. and I'm injecting the database context class using dependency injection into it. Now inside the action result method, I'm creating a list collection of customer model class objects, and this list collection will be used to send the data from the controller to the view. Now using a linq query, I am fetching the top 10 records from the DB set of customers, and finally this particular linq query is converted to a list collection using the toList function. Now the object of the customers collection is passed to the view. Now let's add a view. I will right click inside the action method and then click add view option. Here I am selecting razor view option, and now I'll click on add, and then I'll click add. The very first thing is to inherit the model class namespace. Now I am setting the IEnumerable customers collection as the model for the view. Now I am adding a heading, and in which I'll enter the text as customers, as we'll be displaying the records for customers. Now I'm creating an HTML table. The basic idea is to run a for loop, and using for loop generate the table rows. The for loop will be executed over the model class collection. Now here, as you can see, I am adding header row fields to the table. Since we have 4 fields in a property class, so same way I am adding 4 columns: customer ID, contact name, city and country. Now I am writing a for each loop, and this for each loop will be executed over the customers collection. Now inside the for each loop I am adding a table row, and inside the table row I'll be adding 4 fields, but here instead of static fields they will be the fields from the property. So as you can see, the first field is customer ID. That means it will display the data of customer ID, then contact name, city and country. So with this we are done with the program, and now we can run it and see it in action. Now you can see the data from the database has been successfully fetched using entity framework. So with this we come to the end of this video. Today we learned how to use entity framework in ASP.NET Core version 10. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and please also click on the bell icon so that you receive notifications. Goodbye.